Hi, welcome to Daily Dose of Anime Recaps. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the first 4 episodes of Arifureta, From Commonplace to World's Strongest, a show where a high school student enters a magical world and finds himself trapped deep in a labyrinth. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to make sure you don't miss the next episodes. We open on a boy wondering if he's died, as it's so dark. He decides no, he has not died, but he has tumbled deeper into a cavern. He sees a bunny and wonders why something so weak would be this far down, as traditionally, monsters get stronger the farther down you go. 2 wolf monsters attack the bunny and it destroys them with ease, making him realize he has miscalculated. The bunny spots him, but a giant bear monster kills the bunny before it can kill him. The bear slices his arm off and eats it. As he backs up deeper into the cave, feebly transmuting rocks to block the bear's path as it smashes them in its pursuit of him, he finds himself passing out from loss of blood when he sees a holy crystal. He has a flashback to his training when he learned that they can heal any wound. He weeps in despair, knowing that even if he does heal, he can't beat the bear. We then flash to a week prior when a group of adventurers is ordered to keep one another safe while in the labyrinth. His teammates remark how useless he is with a sword when they come across a huge crystal. When his one teammate tries to take it, they are transported magically to a bridge where a horde of skeletons and a behemoth attack them. The team leader tries to make a shield, but the behemoth breaks through. Nagumo transmutes a huge wall to block it so his team can escape. But as it breaks through and he begins to run, he flashes back to himself losing blood under the holy crystal, thinking about how he doesn't want to die. He flashes back once more to his captain, swearing they'll rescue him, as his entire team shoots beams at the behemoth chasing him. We see someone grin smugly as a blast veers away from the others and hits him. As he wonders who would do that, he flashes to his team screaming for him as the behemoth destroys the bridge, sending them both plummeting down. We then flash to 9 days prior, where we see Kaori telling him that she doesn't want him to go with the group when they enter the labyrinth because she had a nightmare that makes her think something bad will happen. He asks her to protect him since he isn't suited for combat and she has healing powers. She promises to protect him. We then flash back to her screaming as he plummets, and then flash again to him laying down thinking about how no one is going to rescue him. He angrily says that he doesn't deserve this and that he will get out and destroy anything in his way because anything in his way is the enemy. He drinks from the puddle under the holy crystal and then lures some wolves into a pit and transmutes rocks to crush them. He starts eating them before he feels like he's burning up from the inside. He drinks more water as his hair turns white. He screams in pain and finds himself laying in the puddle, his eyes now red. He is significantly more powerful now and has a slew of new abilities. Using material he has in the cave, he makes a very powerful magic gun and bullets. He names it Donner. He eats another monster, finding he increases in power and abilities every time he eats a new one. With his newfound power and weapon, he goes to confront the bear. As they fight, the bear proves to be a formidable opponent, but he flashbangs it before shooting its arm off and taking a bite. He finishes off the bear and decides to find a way out of there, vowing to kill anyone who gets in his way. We then see a girl, naked and trapped in some sort of magical device, open her eyes. Nagumo makes a plan to get out of the labyrinth, deciding to go deeper down until he can figure out where he is, as this labyrinth has 100 levels and he has no idea which one he's on. He makes supplies out of the bear and begins his journey. A lizard uses its eyes to petrify his light, and his stump begins to petrify as well, but he douses it with holy water. He flashbangs the giant lizard crawling up behind him and then shoots it with a grin. We get a montage of him killing monsters before cutting to his team reporting to the king about the trap that sent them to the 65th level, which is the deepest anyone has ever gone. The king orders them to never speak of it again, as word of one of their heroes dying in the labyrinth has made the king look bad. The dark-haired swordsman from his team remembers his supposed death and how she had held back his friend from diving into the abyss after him. She begins training as she remembers her classes when she first entered the world. According to the Pope Ishtar, there are 3 races that inhabit this world: humans, demons, and beastmen. Humans and demons had been at war for a very long time until the demons learned how to control monsters, which pushed humanity to the brink of destruction. The god of creation summoned heroes with great powers to the kingdom, and they are those heroes. Their teacher forbids it, as they are just normal students. Flashback to the present, and the dark-haired sword girl wonders how they're suddenly so powerful. One of their teammates walks by, muttering to himself about no one finding out. She asks why he seems so nervous. He leaves, and she wonders if he was always so twitchy, remembering him as a confrontational guy. She then wonders if he had a thing for Kaori, before dismissing the idea as ridiculous, and going to check on Kaori. Kaori wakes up and asks where Nagumo is, and bursts into tears when she's told he's dead. We cut back to Nagumo, who has gone 50 levels downward and has found a massive set of doors. He tries to transmute through the door, which only serves to awaken the two statues that guard it. He quickly takes out one by shooting it in the eye, but the other one blocks his shots. It blocks shot after shot before he quickly steps behind it and shoots it in the eye. Using stones found inside the statue monsters, he finds the naked blonde girl in the magical contraption. He immediately turns and begins to leave as she begs him to help her. He refuses, as he says she is here for a reason. She tells him he is there because she was betrayed, and this triggers something inside of him, as he was betrayed as well. He asks why the betrayer would keep her locked up down here with so much security. She explains she comes from a long line of vampires and used her powers to protect her people. Her uncle would take the throne, but because she's so powerful, she had to be removed, and because she couldn't be killed, she was sealed down there. He frees her and she asks his name. She asks him to give her a name, and he picks Yua after the moon. Spikes fly down from the ceiling and he tackles her out of the way, taking them in his back. He pours holy water on the wounds as a giant scorpion monster appears. He gives her his bearskin coat and puts her on his back. He begins fighting with the scorpion monster. He cannot harm it, however, as its shell is too strong. Yua bites his neck, and his blood rejuvenates her, and she hits it with a powerful spell. He asks her to do it again, right where he shoots, and they end up killing it. She explains the legend behind the labyrinth, that the messengers of the gods called Mavericks rebelled, and when they could not beat the gods, they hid inside labyrinths. Legend says they still haunt the darkness of the labyrinths. He uses the scorpion monster's body to make a huge gun called Schlag. She begins peppering him with questions, and he explains his backstory as we get a montage of them going deeper into the labyrinth. When he finishes, she weeps for him. He tells her not to cry as he just wants to go home. He invites her back to his home with him. His classmates, meanwhile, prepare to re-enter the labyrinth to get even stronger. Back in the labyrinth, we see Nagumo and Yua fleeing a horde of dinosaurs with flowers growing out of their heads. He surmises that the flowers are a method for controlling them by some other creature. They find a cave and a floating green ball touches Yua, growing a flower on her and controlling her. A flower monster woman comes out when Nagumo touches one of the green balls, and a flower sprouts on his head, but then shrivels and dies as he laughs. But then Yua keeps attacking, and she begs him to shoot the monster despite it using her as a shield. He surprises them both by agreeing and attacking. She's annoyed by his lack of hesitation with shooting at the monster. After drinking some more of his blood, they open a chamber with a giant staircase and walk down. After a montage of them climbing down the stairs and walking through chambers until they get to a giant door. They enter the chamber on the other side of the door. A huge magical circle appears and a 6-headed snake monster appears out of it. The monster attacks with 5 of its heads, and they manage to injure them, but the 6th head heals the other heads. They try attacking the healing head, but another head defends. Another head puts Yua under a spell, so she believes Nagumo has abandoned her, and she is still trapped in her prison. Nagumo saves her just before she's killed by a snakehead. He feeds her holy water and it snaps her out of the trance. He kisses her and then switches to Schlag, while she uses her magic to keep the monster distracted. The hypnotizing head tries to put her in a trance again, but she remembers the kiss, and it keeps her from being hypnotized. He blasts 2 heads, one of them being the healing head, out of existence, with Schlag, and Yua uses a spell to kill the other 3. Yua, exhausted, drops to her knees, but one of the heads survived and blasts at her. Nagumo jumps in the way. Schlag is destroyed, and Nagumo drops to the ground, bleeding and unconscious. The final head begins raining magic attacks down on them as Yua struggles to get them to safety. She gives him holy water and kisses him before picking up Donner and charging into battle. She shoots it, but it blasts her. It looms over her, ready to blast again, and she thinks it's the end. But Nagumo saves her. He notices it seems slower, but Yua tells him he just got faster. She sucks his blood to regain some strength. He flashes back to seeing Yua fight the monster, and he unlocked a new skill to save her. He uses it to set grenades in the ceiling, and collapse it on the monster. As it's pinned, Yua blasts it with a big spell, killing it. Out of strength, he lays down and she lays down with him. We cut to his teacher, arguing with Pope Ishtar. She does not want her students back in the labyrinth so soon, but he makes a deal that only those who volunteer to go in will go in. His classmates are all on the 60th level of the labyrinth.